To order. Today's date, Monday, July 11th, 2022, Greater Peoria Mass Transit District, 2105 Northeast Jefferson Avenue. Roll call.
Trustee Ahart.
Present.
Trustee Sterling Polk.
Present.
Trustee Hare.
Present.
Trustee McBride.
Present.
Trustee Knox.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Stand for the pledge. Nick?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone have the minutes from the June 13th meeting that have been reviewed. If so, can I get a motion?
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Communications.
We have none tonight, sir.
Report to officers.
I was going to talk about the West Peoria Parade.
Sure.
And we had 2 buses in it. And a lot of people, there were thousands lined up there. Sidewalks were full. And people, when they'd see the new bus, they'd be, oh, that's the new bus. That's the electric bus. And we had a lot of nice comments along the way about it. The sad thing was I only saw a couple of CityLink people there, besides the bus drivers and me and Nick, I guess. Yeah. But we were praised quite a bit.
Good.
That's it.
Questions for Sharon? Anybody else? See any committees? Anybody?
I'll share a couple of things from the recent Tri-County Planning Commission meeting. I got a question that came up after the meeting from the commissioner from Creve Court. And I think he had originally raised this at the strategic planning meeting, but he had questions regarding service to Creve Court. And I asked him just to email me and I would get the information probably to Shammer or Kenny or someone, because I guess it was 2. One was related to, and I think Doug shares with me before, so like one stop that goes through Creve Court. And I think he had 2 questions. One was, getting more, how do we get service? And then something else related to probably city lift and getting, medical transportation. So I didn't have the answer, but I said I'd get you to the right people. And then I know we talked about that before, Doug. I know it came out of the their last strategic planning meeting with more services from there. And then I'll pause for any comments before I go on. Comments?
Yeah, currently Creve Court does not pay for their service. We do like a courtesy stop on our way to Pekin. And so we probably have to open up a conversation with them on what type of service they desire. And if they want more stops or if they want the paratransit service, then we can work on a rate for them.
Okay.
Yep.
And because one of the other comments was relative to that courtesy stop, that I guess what was given back reported to him was that if the operator was, running late on the route, then they wouldn't stop there at all. I don't know what our current policy is on that, but since he said it was courtesy, they didn't have to stop. So if they were running behind, they would just keep on going. So
Yeah, it's probably one of those, a lot of different operators handle it differently.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately.
Only other thing to talk about from that is there's some ongoing push for more pedestrian walkway things that are related to probably trails, and and then ongoing discussion about biking. And the only thing that kind of bubbled up to us was related to, will we have more capacity for bicycles on buses? And I don't know, you'll probably talk about that later on one of your other resolutions on here, but just want to share those items real quick from bubble up from that meeting.
Yeah, currently, all our new buses, we have 3 positions for bike racks, bicycles in the bike racks. The older buses all have 2, so.
Miss Patty?
I'm gonna let Doug and Desiree talk about the WOW event.
Douglas?
Doug or Desiree?
Well, we're 2 weeks out tomorrow, and we're gonna go look at the venue tomorrow to see for placement of our buses and for Angel, and we've got like 11 vendors. Real diverse, Camp Big Sky, Easter Seals, some people for, I don't even know what they're called right now, hearing difficulties, some different things that maybe people don't know in the area. So 2 weeks out, and I'm sure we would love to see everybody stop by between 5 and 7 to support that. That's where we're at.
Thank you.
Say on that topic also?
What?
Do you have any top? She said you and Desiree. I don't know if you had anything to say on that. All right.
He's going with me tomorrow.
Okay, then I'll leave it out.
Desiree's doing it all. I'm not- no.
Any other standing committees?
And Sharon's going with us too. She's gonna check it out.
Can I ask what the venue is, or has it been announced yet? Do I know?
It's Exhibit Hall C at the Civic Center. It's
Okay.
right across from I think Fulton, you can park on Fulton in the lot and walk right across and you're there.
We're gonna have refreshments.
Yes. Small refreshment.
Okay, report from the general manager.
I wasn't planning on giving a report tonight. I was gonna give all my time to Shamra and Bill for their updates, but I did have a couple of topics that I thought I'd bring up anyway. APTA meeting is in October, 8th through the 12th. I'm a little sketchy on traveling right now, so I might not go. My flights have been really screwy lately, so it might get better between now and then, but right now, I don't know. But any of you that want to go, we probably need a decision in the next couple, 2 to 3 weeks, month at the latest. And then also we will have to decide if we're going to change the board meeting date for that. If a quorum is going to be gone, then we'll have to push that meeting back. So just some ideas. I sent you out the triennial review results this morning. I was really pleased with them. Last triennial, we got beat up pretty bad, so I wasn't sure what to expect this time, but went pretty smooth. And so even some of the things I thought were going to be findings weren't. So we've got 1 or 2 of them cleaned up already, so we'll get that to them in the next week or 2 and go back and forth maybe once or twice. I don't think she'll take too many times to get it cleaned up. So, but we should have that way before the December deadline and even before the September cutoff, I think she had. So anyway. And then also I will be out this week on Wednesday and Thursday for IPTA, Illinois Public Transit Association. I'm on their board and we're having a board retreat. They've never had one before that I've been attending. I haven't been on the board that long, so maybe that's why I haven't been on one. But so they're going to have one in Springfield this year. So I will be down there for that. Other than that, any questions for me?
Speaking of, are we solid on our board retreat?
Oh, yeah, that's still scheduled for the 16th of August. That's a Tuesday. It'll be from 9 to 5, and it'll be at the Betty Jane Center in the Heights.
We hope so. I didn't hear back from them today, so I should hear back
We went out last week, and it was the week before,
week before.
and she put us on the penciled schedule anyway.
It's really a nice place. I mean, you just walk right in, nice big area, restrooms on the main floor, real nice venue for this group. Like 21 people, 22 people,
Yeah, so.
that's who we chose. And the price was great.
So we'll probably get a tentative agenda out to you soon, so you can look it over and any thoughts and comments and other things that you want to talk about for that day, let us know.
Next question on the notes here, you said something about you reviewed future placement of shelters and bus benches. Can you describe that more?
Which one's that on?
Under maintenance, under reported general manager. Just curious about the shelters. So they,
Oh, yeah, so we've got some money, we've got like $45,000 left over to spend in a grant. And so after the comprehensive operational analysis, we had some changes. So we wanted to see what needed to be changed after that took place. And so I think they were out reviewing stops and bench locations and sidewalks and to see what they needed to update for that. So I think they've got a preliminary plan now.
Yeah, we got like 6 or 7 different stops that we submitted to the federal government for like a NEPA study to make sure there's no pads and stuff in. It's not gonna, we're not gonna be told, no, you can't do that for X, Y, and Z reasons. So we're waiting to hear back from them. And once they give us the green light, then we'll put that out for bid, burn that money. Put in some nice new pads. The whole Center for Living is one of them. We need quite a bit of concrete work down there to connect from their awning to where a bus would potentially go. So that'll be nice.
And I think the whole center was the big one we were gonna do
It's
there,
big.
and then a couple little stops.
It's like 150 feet of sidewalk. But we're gonna do that for them. So other people come out, they just go stand in like mud. So we'll put a nice pad in for them. So we're just waiting to hear back. It could be tomorrow, it could be months. So
Where was this again?
one of them is the whole Center for Living.
Oh,
That's one location, and there's 6 others in operations identified that could really use landing pads with the new changes.
There was a couple out in Pekin too,
Yep, there too.
out near the hospital.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Shamra, I'll let her talk about the Washington project.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So as some of you may know, we applied for the 5310 funding opportunity for Washington. It would be paratransit service, and that was back in October of 2021. We received approval May 2022. The funding comes from the FDA and passes through IDOT and Tri-County Regional Planning Commission. This is going to be a 6-month pilot with the hopes to move paratransit service and fixed route in Washington someday. We just don't know when that would be, but we just want them to get comfortable with just paratransit service at this time. So we are working with the Washington Township Supervisor and the City of Washington for paratransit, this paratransit opportunity. So at the end of the current City Lift service, which is at the Sunnyland Plaza, there, and we cover it based on the fact that we have fixed route and then 3/4 of the mile, there is a gap of service, and they don't have any transportation for people that have disabilities and mobility issues right there. And then it goes all the way into Washington. So the City of Washington and the Township Supervisor, they also want to work with residents in that area in Sunnyland to help with this issue. So what we would do is provide paratransit service from that area after the Sunnyland Plaza all the way into Washington. And it will be with people that have mobility or disability issues that qualify for the service. And the service will be for 18 to 59-year-olds. There is a service currently for 60+, and that would be with We Care and Agency on Aging. So Sunnyland residents, they would be paying $6 one way to get over to the Washington area for going to the pharmacy or going to the doctor or just going shopping. Washington residents, they will pay $2 in areas of Washington, and their underserved areas is what they would call it. And that would be one way. And then if they want to go over to East Peoria or Peoria, it's going to be $6 one way. We will have the service as cash only, since this is just a pilot, and move to providing passes in the future if there is more funding available. The service will start August 1st, so we've been working behind the scenes to get everything together for this. The Washington Township Supervisor, the City of Washington, and the Mayor are promoting this opportunity currently in their community. I am working with Emily Watson, the City Link, and the Washington Township Supervisor to have applications on our website and information about the service. The website will have everything hopefully by the end of this week. We have a mock-up already set up, but we just want to make sure our wording is fine-tuned. So hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have that taken care of. And then people can start going online to complete applications. But we do have hard copy applications in the City of Washington right now. So they are located at different doctors' offices, OSF, Unity Point clinics, and optometrists, dentists, you name it. So we have also been working with Angel or TransDev to have staff prepared for this exciting new opportunity so that riders can start booking their rides. And then also we're working with Rima from Tri-County Regional Planning, as she has been keeping us updated throughout the past months and working closely with us on finalizing this project. In addition, we are keeping Doug as the general manager updated on all fronts with this project at weekly staff meetings and safety and operation meetings. That concludes my report.
Questions?
I just have one. Sure. You guys have worked it out, because I know Angel always talks about lack of employees, drivers, and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to double check that all that's been taken into consideration.
Yes.
Since we're adding on and we're trying to make this a permanent thing. So,
Yes, actually, she
Okay.
and I, we talked about that last week, and
okay,
she's already she has a couple drivers in mind that she wants to use over in Washington,
okay,
and their on-time performance has been excellent right now. So
perfect,
we're good.
okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
And I think Mr. Walmacher was going to give us an update on demo of houses. or at
Sure.
least one house.
Yeah. I know we've had some questions. We had we started a condemnation action actually back in February of this year. It involves a house that's on Van Buren, adjacent to the property that's going to be eventually part of a parking lot area. We've had, both Doug and I have gone around and around with this particular gentleman who owns the house. He's an absentee landlord. It's among a number of houses that he owns in the Peoria area. So we've had problems with him. I've had problems with him in complying with discovery information that we've requested as far as that would help us in the valuation process. One of them was getting access to the interior of the property because he had refused to do that. And that's one of the requirements for IDOT appraisals, is to have an interior inspection. You can imagine that almost anytime you're going to do an appraisal of a piece of real estate, you need to go inside and see what it looks like. He has indicators, the attorney has indicated in hearings, I think, that he's got concerns because I think the last tenant that was in there did some significant amount of damage to the property. And so he doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that maybe the piece of property might not be worth what he thinks it's worth. All right. So there's been a reluctance there. And then we've also requested documents from them related to the rental history of the property, the expenses, all that other stuff. That's also an important factor in valuing the property. So we had a hearing because he has been recalcitrant in responding to things. I filed a motion to actually get the judge to order the inspection. So That was, I think, on July 6th. The judge was not happy with this gentleman and the way he's been not responding. So he has ordered the inspection. We've got another hearing on July 22nd because he wants to make sure that the gentleman is complying with his order. So we've got a tentative date for the inspection of this piece of property on, it's either going to be on July 26th or 27th. I've cleared that to the appraiser. I won't know which of those two dates for another week or so, but it'll work either way with our appraiser. And today I received a bunch of the documents that had not been provided before, the past tax returns and other stuff that would provide us information about the rental income and the expenses related to the property, which is important because he hired an appraiser, but the appraiser just did estimates. Even though he had the actual information, he did not provide that to his appraiser. And so, so we're moving ahead with all of that by putting pressure on him. And I think the judge has become disenchanted with his reluctance to cooperate in the whole process. So all of that is moving forward, which is good. And I think his attorney has been trying to work with him to develop some sense of reality as to the situation he's in and what we're going to do. So we don't have a trial date yet, but I think we will, a trial date will get set, I think in the next month or so, because we want to keep pushing this forward and not allow him to keep delaying things. And the judge is responsive to that. So I think we're in good shape as far as stopping a lot of the delays that we've had from him in the past. So we're moving forward with this. And so I don't know that we're going to settle it or whether or not we'll just actually have to go through the condemnation trial. It shouldn't take too long because I think only he will testify and his appraiser. And as far as on our side, Doug will need to testify because we're going to have to explain what the project is and that there's a public purpose for all of that. And then we have an appraiser who we're going to use to testify at the trial. So that's kind of where we're at. If you want any more specific information, it's probably best not to discuss that specifically at a public meeting. But just to give you a flavor for what's going on, we have been putting pressure on them to move ahead, and the judge has responded by understanding our situation and putting his foot down. So, all right.
My only
Yep.
question is, there's going to be a trial for condemnation.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay,
Condemnation.
is that the same as the eminent domain type
Yes.
thing?
It's
Okay,
another word for
It's just
eminent
another
domain,
word
is
for it.
condemnation. Yeah.
okay. All
We're
right,
going to take the property. We're going to pay money.
okay.
New facility update. Beth. Video.
We do have a video this time. Phase A rear building punch list. We're pushing. We have had a few items that had to be fixed that we've had some material delays on. One being the guardrail. The steel has not been in, so hopefully get that going quickly. Everyone else has been working right along with their punch items, moving along. Closeout docks and owner training. Those will wrap up once the control panel for the paint booth. We did get the parts and pieces on that, so they are avidly working with that's PIPCO, A&J, and ECSI. So once that gets wrapped up, we can get owner training set up for the paint booth and hopefully have that up and running soon. Phase B, C and D, Jefferson work completed and traffic control has been taken down, so that's good. A&J Electric installed rebar and chairs for conduit at front entrance, and it was backfilled and graded. ICCI will poured icing sidewalks, and they are pouring the concrete sections at the front gate. It'll be done in sections, and we're hoping to have that back open on the 19th. NE Finch wrapped up the storm and retainage pond on the east side. NE Finch is excavating for footings and at the admin building. RCC formed the keyway, and which is just another word for basically a pier, and then NE Finch backfilled it last week. River City also installed base plates at all the forms, and United Rebar installed the rebar at the high wall at the admin building. Tobin, Any Finch, and A&J Electric will keep moving west on the underground utilities. Probably going faster than the pictures. RCC will coordinate with Greater Peoria as areas open back up, and then we'll start moving around, and other areas will be closed off. As far as the budget, there are no adjustments to the GMP. We are currently 98% complete on the phase A. Again, that's all paint leak control panel. And then B, C, and D, we are 20% construction currently complete. Any questions?
Where's the retainage located?
The what?
The retainage fund.
Oh, it's the northeast. If you're pulling out of here, it's on the right-hand side of the gate.
Okay.
Yep. It's very exciting. You guys are always welcome to stop by anytime and go for a walk at all. Paint booth, and as we get going with moving up, hopefully steel will be first week of September, and then precast, so you're start to see structure the next couple months.
It's 20%, that seems kind of high, but I mean, because the buildings are off the record and everything.
20% is off of 43 million. It's the total GMP. That's how it's calculated. So
Okay,
yeah,
so it includes,
Yeah.
the phase A.
it's just as we add in our monthly bills, it does an automatic calculation.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
No trends though.
Angel, I know, she was gonna be on, but she's still under the weather. And so Shamra was gonna do the speaking for her.
Okay.
She's on, I think there was some technical issues too.
Is there a microphone running here now? Is there a microphone?
It's on the card. Oh, over there.
Yeah, because it's very difficult.
Oh, just to speak.
Oh,
Would it be allowed?
Okay. Chris is gonna get the mic. Oh, okay. Just a sec.
Karaoke machine.
There you go. That's what I was
Chris usually sings karaoke.
So we're waiting for this.
It doesn't matter. There isn't every single day, if anybody wants to
Yeah.
come.
Who gets to sing first? No.
Oh, no. Okay, so I get to be Angel today. So total ridership numbers for City Lift is 8,486 for June. And then we look over at County Link for the rural is 906. County Link Urban 652. Their on-time performance is very excellent. It's 96%. Days at 95% or higher is 22 days. Days at 90 to 94% is 7. And then days below 90% was only 1 last month. With the ridership, including assistance, it was 10,044 riders that were on the paratransit. And then management activities participated in weekly meetings with CityLink for routine updates. And then ongoing work with EcoLane support for continued improvements, and worked with CityLink and Washington Township on future service. There were 0 complaints last month, and that completes the City Lift and County Link report.
Question. So on those first set of statistics you were giving, how's that comparing like year over year to last year or
Okay,
year
so,
over year pre-COVID?
well, I don't have those numbers, but year to date is 44,638. And then for County Link, let's see, for rural, I have 10,347, and County Link Urban 7,987.
Okay, so maybe next time then, just so we get kind of an idea of what.
Yeah. You can
know,
have a
was
breakdown from
or-
last year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
give us a little bit better, you know, numbers to understand what we're hearing.
Any other questions? Nope, good. I think that's something we could get Angel to do. We can get those numbers next time, so.
Yeah, I think they're
Gotta
usually
compare them to-
included in our report, but our report didn't make them packet this month. Everybody was on vacation that does the. So we gotta train more people.
Okay. Any public comments?
There are none. Chair
Okay.
Gayheart.
Thank you, ma'am. Old business? Hearing none? Oh, sorry, go ahead. I apologize, I didn't look.
That's okay. Should we talk about the organizational chart under old business? Or should we not? I mean, because we had talked about it last time, and then it was like pulled out of the retreat packet for us to do separately. So I wasn't sure how we should proceed with that. Or is it something that we need to do in executive session? I didn't know where else to ask that.
Is that, when do we approach that? When do we talk about that?
Yeah, I think, we can put it on an agenda for future meetings, or if you wanted to go into executive session later tonight to get the ball rolling, you could, so. It's gonna kind of be up to you,
I mean, it's definitely something that we'd like to discuss. I don't know if this has to be done tonight, since it's kind of thrown, but, would we be all right if we put it on the agenda or executive sessions for the October or August meeting? Would you be all right with that? Okay. Can we do that? Can we look at August 8th meeting, do an executive session after the meeting to talk about the organizational chart? Okay. Thank you. Okay.
I'm not, let me explain something to you. I'm not 100% convinced that you can, without understanding what, you know, what this organizational chart changes are, whether or not it's something that's a topic for an executive session.
It is.
It is?
It is.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
It is.
So is it next week meeting or?
Yeah, we'll do
Said
executive.
October.
Yeah, I'm sorry, August.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going about 3 hours sleep. I apologize. Yeah. So how about we do
Oh my God.
August executive session to discuss organizational charts? Sorry about that. Okay.
I have another question.
Yep.
Under same auspice. What about, we had some other discussion about proposed amendments for the bylaws. So do we need and then, again, I don't know whether that's Sharon, you're the bylaws committee person. So do we submit those to Sharon? Or what's, for review before we even obviously discuss, proposing any changes?
I think I should see that. So,
Right, but what's our, I don't know what our process is. Do we submit them to you?
I would say, yeah, we submit them to Sharon for review, and then, we can put them on the agenda for the next meeting if all the questions are answered.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Any other old business? No. Okay, new business. She's already standing up there. Ordinance 23-02 for levying and assessing of taxes for the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023.
All right. Can you hear me? All right, Greater Peoria Mass Transit is required to file the Peoria County for the intent, how we gonna levy for this area, whatever the Peoria County collect the tax levy from all the residents. So this levy will subsidize our, our operation for our fiscal year ending June 30, 2023. With all the dollar amount we're going to levy, step gonna summarize for the all different category. For the general corporation purpose, we levy $2,111,563. For the IMF pension, $1.4 million. For the Medicare and Social Security, we levy $900,000. For the unemployment insurance, we levy $58,000. And for the audit, we levy $40,000. And also for the general liability, such as the insurance premium and also the loss fund reserve, we levy for the $975,000. And for the worker comp, we levy it for the $500,000. For the total, for the fiscal year 2023, we levy $5,984,563. Therefore, staff recommend for approve this dollar amount we file with the Peoria County.
Any questions for Christine?
Yes. So is this something that, this is a annual?
Yes.
So the county is expecting this to come from us or on an annual basis, so it's nothing to be surprised by.
Correct. And also because for the every year, we don't, like this year, we don't have exceed 5% increase over the prior year. We don't have the public hearing or any kind of legal, notice.
Okay.
And there are some kind of cap for that, based on our the law regulation, our cap is 15 mil, meaning the 50 cents per $100 we levy. However, based on our calculation, this year we only 9.7 cents, so we are way under.
So if we were ever to go over, then it would have to go to
For the public hearing, for the hearing,
Okay.
But we keep, the cap, to remind us, never try to over.
Got it.
Any other questions? Any motion?
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
A roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ahart,
Approved.
trustee Hare,
Approved.
trustee Polk, approved. Trustee Knox,
Approved.
trustee McBride, approved. Motion
Carries.
It's an ordinance.
Next, resolution 2303, recommendation to approve contract option year 2 for fuels and bulk fluids contracts with Ag Lab FS for term August 26, 2022 to August 27, 2023. Mr. Steve.
Evening. I'm here to seek up board approval to exercise the second one-year option with Agland FS, provide fuels and bulk lubricants using current rates and fees. Under the current contract with Agland FS, they provided fuels and lubricants for us since 2018. During times of severe volatility, Agland FS have provided the best prices for fuel and bulk lubricants for our district. Currently, the nation has a supply chain issue. FS continue to supply us with products at fair and reasonable prices. And also, they're the largest dealer in the area, and they assure us the best chance to keep operational in case of a future crisis. It is recommended the Board of Trustees authorize execution of the second year option with Agland FS starting August 27, 22 through August 26, 23, continuing to supply fuel and bulk lubricants at the current rate and fee schedule.
Questions? Hearing none, can I get a motion? Or motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Trustee Ahart,
Approved.
trustee Hare,
Approved.
trustee Polk, approved. Trustee Knox,
Approved.
trustee McBride, approved.
Thank you, sir. Next resolution 2304, request for approval of renewal of legal services between William C. Wumbacher and Cassidy M. Mueller PC for that the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District exercise the first of 5 one-year options beginning October 22nd, October 1st, start that over at October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023. So, sorry about that.
And I think you summarized it all very correctly. So the only thing I'll add is there's no rate increase in this contract extension. So there you go.
I hate to always be the one that has a question, but I was reading the contract itself. And in doing that, it seems that the items that we pay you for our retainer, they don't seem like there are a lot of things that you do with those particular issues on like a daily basis. Whereas when we come to workers' compensation, that is a separate entity altogether that you build totally separate from that. So could you?
Cassidy and Mueller do the, I'm sorry. Cassidy and Mueller do the workers' comp defense work, and they do some liability defense, but it's through the risk pool for the district. All right. So I do all the general work for the district. And so that's what I'm getting paid the monthly retainer for, is for attending meetings, reviewing all the resolutions that come before the board. You know, all the resolutions tonight, they come to me, they're reviewed by me. I'm also, you know, dealing with any issues, whether there's a lot of times I get information related to discipline, related to employees, grievances, other activity, and all of that. That comes to me also. And, you know, so I'm available to consult with Doug and anybody else in the organization about those issues. Also, you know, Christine was mentioning the tax levy. I review the tax levy. I review all the budget materials, and all of that are sent to me. A lot of the contractual issues relating to contracts that come out of the resolutions, I review, or sometimes I have to work with contractors. I know we did some work with River City at the beginning when the contract started for that project, for their contract, or to incorporate information related to what we were going to require from subcontractors and all of that. So there's a lot of different things that are involved in the day-to-day, you know, operation that come to me on any regular basis. So that's what I get paid for, is for being available and for handling all of those kinds of matters, you know, that come before the board. And this is the way it's been for many, many years, because it's just more efficient rather than me billing on an hourly basis for all the different things I do. This way, you know, I'm available to handle all these different types of things to assist the district with. So.
Okay.
So is that explains, are those things, I didn't read it, so are those detailed in the contract?
Not, well, sort of, kind of. I would like to not vote on this, if possible, until next month, so that we can just talk a little bit more. I mean, because his contract isn't up until
What, October?
October.
So we do
right,
have some time.
that we could kind of, I guess my biggest thing is that we have one attorney that does, let's say, the day-to-day stuff, but then we have a whole nother set of attorneys that do the compensation and that kind of stuff. So I guess I just need a better clarification of why we have two.
Well, I can explain a little bit.
All right.
When this went out for proposal 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it's the first 5 years, it's almost done now. What happened is I went in with this other firm for the purpose of providing these services. Okay, so it's basically a joint venture between myself and the Cassidy Mueller firm. They are very experienced in doing workers' compensation defense and different types of litigation work. Prior to that, 5 years prior, another firm did all the work, all right? When I lost the work and the other firm was selected, 10 years ago, one of the criticisms or one of the issues the board had concerns with was not only me handling all the general day-to-day stuff, but me also on top of it doing all the workers' compensation and all of the defense work at that particular time. So they selected a firm at that time, 5 or 10 years ago, that was more specialized in doing workers' defense work. All right. So when this came up for a proposal again 5 years ago, what I did was I figured the best way to address this issue was for me to do mainly the day-to-day types of work, but to bring another firm in combination with me that specialized in litigation and workers' defense work. So it was the idea of getting the best of both worlds by getting a firm that does more litigation stuff for that, and then for me to handle more of the day-to-day stuff, the FTA stuff, the labor issues, the other things that the other attorneys did not have experience with. Because I've been doing, I've done the work for over 25 years. I knew very much about the federal regulations and all of that kind of information, state regulations, some of the labor issues and all of that. So that's the reason why I put together this with the other firm to make this proposal to get you the best legal services, combination of my experience and their litigation on them on the litigation side. So that's why it was structured in that way. It was a joint proposal that we did together in order to do this.
Okay, so the rates that you have on there, are those just your rates or do they include?
Those are just my rates.
Okay,
The rates for doing the workers' compensation and defense work are actually less than those hourly rates.
is that in there? I can't remember.
Their rates for Cassidy and Mueller are not in there
Okay,
because they originally didn't propose a specific hourly rate they just proposed on the basis of the first 5 years. Whereas the RFP asked for the first 5 years and then asked for another 5 years with various 1 year, extension periods. And so their rates are actually less because hourly work on workers' compensation and stuff is very competitive, and therefore their rates on an hourly basis are less. But all of that is very dependent on the volume of work that you get and how intense it gets or how much work you have to put in resolving these cases. So it's not as the amounts for budgeting purposes are more difficult because you don't know what you're going to end up with. That's one of the advantage with me with the retainer is what your cost is for the basic legal services, during the entire year. It's so much per month. It's a flat amount. It doesn't vary. So in some months I may do more work than others, but what the idea is it evens out in the end.
So that makes sense to me, but the Cassie Mueller fee schedule is in here, like you said, for the first 5 years. So yours is in here for the
Sure.
additional. So how do we approve moving forward if we don't have their year over year fees in here?
Theirs was also a flat froze fee. So
The hourly rate will stay the same
Yeah.
for this first year.
in the
that
staff
they use for this
summary.
existing year.
Well, it has a change in year one, those first year 1 through 5, but it doesn't have anything in there post the first 5 years. So for the next years like yours, spells it
Right.
out. So we kind of need that spelled out in here, don't we? Or we need an addendum to the contract so we know.
Well, yeah, there needs
Got
to
it.
be,
in the staff somewhere in the, you know. So their option 1 year was the same as.
Okay,
They're freezing their
So where-
rate for this first year.
so where did we get that from if it's not in the contract?
Oh, it was, because I saw that he didn't have an increase in there.
Okay,
And so that's why I asked him what it was for the 6th year. And Tim told us that it was going to remain the same. So yeah, we would put that into the contract for next year.
so yeah, so we need to like that add as an addendum then.
Right.
It's basically the same rate for next year as this rate for both myself and Cassie and Mueller.
So my, and again, I was actually just joking on Patty's question. My question is, do we have any KPIs or what's our data to measure our happiness with the service that we're being provided to decide if we do want to renew for another year?
Customer satisfaction.
Yeah, so I
survey?
mean, are we getting, yeah, are we happy? Because I'm new, so I can't really, but that way we know if we're renewing. So that's why I think Patty said, maybe we need to, I'd like to make a motion that we postpone this decision for another month. We've got until October, right? So that we can get some more data points, maybe you can share some other things with us to, help us so that we know that all what you described already is in there, and as well as, feedback from the team that the services that we're getting are adequate and everybody's happy. I just don't know that. I'm too new to know.
Do you want to table this one?
Yes, that's why I make a motion that we postpone this resolution for 1 month so that we can get some more data, because it looks like we're good until October 1st, right? So I'm glad you brought it up sooner, so we have a little time. Yeah.
So do we need a motion for that, to table it? Okay. So can we get a motion to table resolution 2304?
So move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, tabling resolution 2304 till the August meeting, say aye. Aye. Nays? Okay, motion carried. We'll table that, we'll reapproach that, or readdress that August, the August 8th meeting. Okay.
Yeah, I guess my only comment on that was I apologize. When we put this agenda together, there was some stuff. I said, well, we got to put something on the agenda. And then as I got through the month, everybody's like, well, I need this, I need this, I need this. And pretty soon and I should have been kicking stuff off. But anyway.
Well, I think the only other challenge, not to speak out of turn on it, is that we only have 1 business day to review the packet this time. So if we need a little more time so we can ask some of these questions, and that way we don't have to belabor it in the meeting.
Understood.
Apologies to that to you guys too, because Art Bell had made it so we delivered them on Thursday, and sometimes we don't get all more information until Friday, so we'll try and do better to get those out on Thursday as we were.
Good. Okay, next resolution. 2305, approval to apply for rebuild round 3 application. Estimated cost to replace 46 fixed route vehicles and cost to launch micro transit for 5 years. Mr. Jim.
The only difference we have on this resolution is we found out this afternoon that the microtransit services would not be funded under this grant. So we'd asked that question like a month ago. They finally got back to us today. So we'll withdraw that part of the application, but we're still going to go forward with 46 fixed route buses for basically $46 million and see what they say when we get done with it. But what we'll do is submit our transition fleet plan, and some of those will be electric and some of them will be diesel over the next 5 years. But then we're gonna throw everything at them and see what sticks. So.
Question on this resolution?
No, I just say, I think we got to press forward quick, because if I understand it, even after this goes through, it's still a year from the time that we would actually receive the funding and make an order, that's a whole nother year before we'd even get the vehicles. And we're close to end of life, right? On a lot of these.
Yeah, a lot of our fleet was replaced during the ARA funding, American Recovery Rescue Act, back during the Obama administration. So I think we've got like 25 buses coming up in the next 3 years. And some of them are needing replaced now. But like you say, if we got funding and if we place an order, it's, 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah, so.
Anything else? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second to approve 2305.
Second.
All in favor to approve resolution 2305 by saying aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. Approved. Resolution 2306, approval for Greater Peoria Mass Transit District to provide CityLink bus passage at no charge upon request in the cities of Peoria and West Peoria and the village of Peoria Heights. Sir.
Okay, this resolution is to kind of clean up some stuff. So what happened was the city of Peoria gave us a pass on our building permit. So we saved like $28,000. And then the next week they requested some bus passes. And everybody's asking me, well, what do we charge? What do we charge? I'm like, we don't charge them anything. Well, how do we not charge them? Well, here's how we not charge them. So anyway, this is basically a resolution so that if any of the three entities that you all represent ask me for bus passes and give me a reason why, and I'm going to say yes. So we wanted something in writing.
Questions?
Is there a limit to the number of passes or the procedure?
I mean, we've got to follow FTA requirements and stuff like that, and, rules and regs within the transit organization, but pretty much it's basically, it'll come from the mayor or city managers of those organizations. It won't just be anybody, and they'll have to come to me, and so, yeah. Or the general manager.
Okay, motion to approve resolution 2306.
So
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those approved, resolution 2306 by saying aye.
aye.
Nays, not hearing any, motion approved. Resolution 2307, recommendation of contract award to Mueller & Mueller LTD to hire construction cost estimators for the TEC renovation designs and to approve Mueller & Mueller to finish phase 1 of the design in amount not to exceed $32,180.
Good evening. So this is kind of a hybrid resolution. Like you said, the purpose is to award a contract to Mueller to hire a construction cost estimator for the transit center design. Also to approve them finishing phase 1 of the design. So a couple years ago, we remodeled the inside of the transit center. Now we're turning our attention to remodeling the outside of the transit center. And the reason why we want to hire a cost estimator is some of the things we're trying to put in down there, they're pretty unique. So we want to make sure that what it is we could potentially include in our design is still in line with our budget. So we might have more money, we might have less money. So we want to make sure what we're going to do is kind of the route we want to go. And we also need them to finish phase 1 of the design to present to you. So you keep going to the other phase 2, phase 3, and then you get construction documents and you bid it out. I think it's up there. So right now we're at like 7% design. This was some preliminary type concepts that they have shown us. See, this is kind of the route we want to go. So basically what they want to do downtown is they want to put new landing pads right here. So when everybody gets out of the bus, you have grip to get on. They want to redo all the curbing down there that needs to be done, repaint it with ADA lines and everything, redo the pedestrian walkways. They want to paint under the dome. They want to paint the outside of the dome. We also want to put in new wayfinding stuff for our buses, so it's all digital and you can change them if you need to change them, and it gives up-to-date on-time information. And we're also looking at an interactive kiosk that we want to put in. It's actually not in this. It might be on the next slide, but passengers could go up and, where's my bus? It's kind of like an airport. You go and see, where's your plane? It's the same thing with here. Your bus will be here in 6 seconds. Oh, there it is. Then we want to put in new benches down there, new trash cans, bike racks. We're going to paint the window on the outside. We're going to make it look pretty sharp. And we're going to clean that thing down there. So, is there another slide? I just have a few. I'm not going to ramble on forever. I promise. That's kind of wanted to show you kind of the route we were trying to go. Yep, this is another concept. They were going to try and paint this to make it more vibrant down there, so it's more inviting. And there's one more. There should be one more. So that's what it could look like. And then show them the next one, please. That's the other design they're looking into. And then at night, it'll light up. It'll look really cool. And then you can't really see it, but right here, that's another reason why we didn't bring a cost estimator, see how much this will cost. But this whole center line right here is basically one big light that would change colors. Like when the fleet would come in, it'd be a certain color indicating, hey, your rides are coming. And then it would start to change colors when it's time to board, kind of like a train, like we're taking off. And then we have PA announcements and everything. So it would be very friendly to all types of passengers. So maybe you put this on. And so.
Did you previously also say was solar part of this?
The solar's being done now.
Okay.
That's scheduled to be completed end of August. And another thing we're trying to do down there is potentially put bus charging. So if we end up getting all these electric buses, we might put rapid charging in down there. We're looking into that, see if that's possible first, and then we'll work that into design if it's possible. So we have multiple places to charge a whole bunch of electric buses.
And will this also include, or I can't remember whether you said our existing project for the new building here, does this include matching, like trying to match existing infrastructure, facility related infrastructure, or is that part of that's part of the current?
That's for here.
Okay.
It's like we talked, like the key bombs and the keys. We're in the process of making sure all those match.
Okay.
That's part of the River City project. This is a whole nother project. So same designers though, the people who designed the new facilities also designing this. So, but it is recommended that the board approves or authorizes the general manager to execute a contract with Moeller to complete phase 1 and also hire the subcontractor to give us a detailed cost estimate of what we're looking at for something like this. We have a ballpark, but we just want to make sure that we're in line with everything before we keep designing, then you rip it all back out. So, in an amount not to exceed $32,180.
Question, do you have any ballpark idea, like what the cost will be without hiring the subcontractor or estimators? I mean, can the dealer provide that or no?
We have a budget of $3 million. We just want to make sure we're not overkilling something like this. They could, but they would prefer to contract some of this out because the folks are trying to hire specializes and things like this. So they flat out said they don't want to guess. They want to get as close to budget as possible. So
anything over the 3 million, we'll have to start whittling down on.
I just didn't know if that's part of Mueller's scope or they do that typically hire a sub to.
Typically for stuff like this, they've indicated they've usually hired out something like this. And it's such a unique space. So we just want to make sure the unique items that we're going for, like, oh, wow, that's way too much. Oh, no, that's not that bad. Yeah, throw it in there. So off we go. Or if it's something we need to go find funding for later, like, oh, that's not that much, but maybe later we'll do it and we'll just set it aside.
Any other questions? Good. Can I get a motion?
Got it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
And a roll call vote? Ma'am.
Trustee Ahart,
Approved.
trustee Harris,
Approved.
trustee Paul, approved, trustee Knox,
Approved.
Trustee McBride approved.
Motion passed. Resolution 2308, recommendation of contract award to River City Construction to lease a tent for temporary bus storage during construction and renovation in an amount not to exceed 315, is that a comma?
315,000.
Okay, that's a period here, so $315. I'm good.
We're all good. Yeah.
I can authorize that. I can do that myself.
$315,000. There you go.
So just to give you background of what this is, 95% of our fleet is currently diesel. Can't leave diesel buses out during the winter. So we've obviously lost our storage garage, or at least one of our storage garages. So what this would be is basically prefabricated metal building that would become an extension of the south building that is going to stay. So we'll just put it up against the south building and it'll become a larger building. It'll have, it'll be heated, lit, working garage doors, ventilated, everything you would need. It basically becomes a garage. This price includes them bringing it here, setting it up, taking it down. So you would need for this Alta company to partner with River City to come here starting in October, because we don't want to go too late into the winter and then have them tear it down sometime around March. We just don't, I mean, even if it doesn't snow, it's still going to get cold and you can't leave those buses outside. That would become a disaster real quick. We won't be able to provide service. So we keep them inside where they're heated. We should keep them warm and safe. So it is recommended that the board authorizes the general manager to execute a contract with River City and Alta to provide a temporary tenting system in the amount not to exceed $315,000.
Any questions on that?
It's a custom building, basically, girls.
Not
This will
Heated.
be
Did I say insulated?
You did.
I'm sorry. Heated. She's always over there telling me what to do.
Can I get a motion?
And she knows.
So moved.
Second? Roll call vote, please. Sure.
Trustee Ahern,
Approved.
trustee Hare,
Approved.
trustee Polk, approved. Trustee Knox,
Approved.
trustee McBride approves. You got your cheaper.
Resolution 2309, Public Transportation and Safety Plan Update. Mr. Deanna.
Mr. Culver.
Yeah, I'm here.
Mr. Culverson would usually do this, but he's under the weather, so.
He's on, he just came off mute. Now he went back on mute.
I'm here if you want me to do it, Doug.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is for our annual update of the Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan as required as part of the FTA. Part of the the FTA's requirements is that we review and make any modifications to the document on an at least annual basis, and then have those changes brought to the board for their approval. Since this is still a relatively new document, the only changes that we had to make are the ones that referred to what system we use for record keeping. We changed those references, and then there was a bipartisan infrastructure bill that was passed in November and went into effect that changed the makeup of what's required for safety committees for transit agencies. And so those changes have also been written into our PTAS. And then those are the only changes that are recommended for this session. So based upon that, we would make the recommendation that the Board of Directors approve the PTAS as submitted.
Are those items highlighted in the, again, it was a big document and we only had one day to look at it.
Yes, there is a change form that was submitted with that. There was a program we used to use called Track It that kept track of like our customer complaints and our incidents and accidents. We've changed to a different recording system for those, and all those page numbers where it referenced the name of that document are included in that change form. And then also the makeup of the safety committee. It was set in one of our internal policies, but the bipartisan infrastructure bill that passed said that it had to be an equal number of members of the union and an equal number of members from the non-union. on the safety committee. So we just put that into the text of our P-task that is how our committee is formed.
Good with that?
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't get a chance to, I don't know if anybody else had the opportunity to review that, because again, it's a pretty big document to try to
Right,
look at.
that, my only concern is that we get these resolutions and we don't always have documentation to back up what you're actually doing. I mean, I have no idea what the safety package looks like. The things that you have said make sense, that you are complying with what we need to change. But the deal for me is that I'm saying okay to something that I've never seen. So that's my only comment on that. You know.
Similar to one of the other items, it may be, you know, I'd make the motion, and, I mean, is this time sensitive?
It is a time-sensitive document, and unfortunately does require approval for this meeting to be able to be submitted to our partners that it needs to be submitted to. But I do see your point on something like that. I know there have been other things that have come up similar to this that, you know, could use more review, I guess.
I guess I mean, if it's time sensitive, I guess we'll have to just trust that everything is okay, but it's better for us, if you need us to do these kind of resolutions, to have a little more time, I think, on some of the more critical items like that.
Good. Okay. Then can we get a motion to pass resolution 2309?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving resolution 2309, motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, hearing none, motion passed. And last is financial report, Ms. Christine.
All right, this is for the June 2022, for the fiscal year 2022, last month's financial report for your approval. This month, we have a little bit over our budget, monthly budget. However, in the whole year, we do have a 0.35% budget variance, meaning we are under the budget. As the same like previous months, we do have a major operating expense in the payroll area, pension, health insurance, liability, and paratransit transportation purchase. And also, you know, going forward until we complete our project for the facility construction, we always have some kind of professional service. With this, staff recommend board approve June financial activity with operating expense $3,519,859.13. And also capital expenditure for the $679,237.43.
Quick question. You might have said it at first, and you were talking fast, I didn't catch it. Did you say we're under budget with year over year, or under budget within this fiscal year?
In the pre-fiscal year, for the fiscal year 2022, we just finished the end of the June 30.
Right.
So the whole year from the July 1st, 2021 until the June 30, 2022, we have overall budget, you know, under 0.35%. In dollar terms, about $122,000. So we are pretty close with our budget.
Got it.
Any questions? No? Can I get a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second?
Second,
And a roll call, please.
trustee Ahern,
Approve.
trustee Hare,
Approved.
trustee Polk, approved, trustee Knox,
Approved.
Trustee McBride approves.
Thank you.
Motion
All right, next meetings are August 8th, 2022 and September 12th, 2022, right here. Hearing no other business, can I get a motion to
You
adjourn?
got it.
Second? All in favor? Aye, we're adjourned.
Are you sure?